Coming up, a recap of recent college basketball games.
Plus, the NHL trade deadline and the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'm Jenny Marchi.
And I'm Chongwoo Chang.
And all this and more.
Rambler Sports Locker begins now. With February coming to an end and spring break right around the corner, we are entering the spring season with tons of sports still to cover.
I can't believe we're so close to March.
And so close to March Madness. I'm hoping to see Loyola make their tournament push.
Me too. This week has been a busy one for Loyola. With all things sports for the Rambler Rundown, we have Arianna Spruille.
As February comes to an end, Loyola teams have had a tumultuous month, going undefeated in areas and struggling to defeat in others. This past Friday, men's basketball beat Dayton 76-72 to win their fourth game in a row. Loyola sits at 19-9 overall and 10-5 in the Atlantic 10. Wednesday, the Ramblers added on to their streak when they beat George Washington 77-57. Women's basketball also came out on top against the Rams at VCU 52-50 in Richmond, Virginia. They will play St. Louis on Saturday. Saturday, Loyola softball competed at the Pirate Invitational, losing to Boston College 6-5 and East Carolina 10-5. On Sunday, the final day, Loyola stumbled to Canisius 4-2. They will take on San Diego State at the Oregon Classic in Eugene, Oregon tonight. Men's volleyball continued undefeated, overpowering Quincy 3-1 and taking home their fifth Intercollegiate Volleyball Association win of the season. They will go on against Lewis at home on Thursday. On Sunday, Loyola's women golf completed their second invite of the spring season, taking 19th place at the Rio Verde Invitational. That wraps up this week's Rambler Rundown. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Arianna Spruille.
Thanks, Arianna, for that update. Now coming up, Brandon Wolak with a Rambler rant on next week's NHL trade deadline.
Thanks, Jenny. It is my personal favorite time of year in sports. A week from today on Friday, March 7th, the NHL trade deadline will hopefully see plenty of deals with contenders adding to already solid teams and sellers selling off their upcoming free agents in order to acquire draft picks and reset for next season. The Blackhawks and general manager Kyle Davidson are no stranger to deadline deals in the midst of their rebuild. However, I am personally worried of the possible inaction that may happen, having seen the last couple of years. We saw in 2021, Pius Suter was already the first one off the block. He had a really good season. The Hawks didn't re-sign him. He goes to Detroit, has a really good season. Now he's making great money in Vancouver. Kevin Lankinen, Dylann Strome, two players that were really good for the Hawks in 2022, and they were let go as RFAs. They were allowed to walk to unrestricted free agency. Strome, now the top-line center with Washington, and Lankinen just signed a 4-year massive deal with the Vancouver Canucks. How many more of these players is he going to let walk away? Is Philip Kurashev next? That's going to happen this offseason. If Kurashev's not moved at the deadline, there could be serious issues. Is Reichel going to be next after that? We've seen players the Hawks have traded at the deadline. We've seen Brandon Hagel in 2022 where they actually got stuff back. However, I'm really worried that for some of these players, these young players, they might not get anything back. The rebuild's already taken 4 years already. It cannot take much longer. Fans are getting restless. They're not making any improvement in the standings, and now players such as Seth Jones have demanded a trade. Taylor Hall was already shipped out earlier this season. All we got back was a third-round pick and half of Mikko Rantanen's salary, and he's not even playing for the team. What is going on in the management? What could be next? Ryan Donato, Craig Smith, Pat Maroon, Alec Martinez are all unrestricted free agents. What can we get, especially for Donato, who's having a career season? I can only hope that Davidson and the Blackhawks don't make the same mistakes they have in the past. As poor moves may hinder this team from getting back to the playoffs, for Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Brandon Wolak, sending it back to the desk.
Thanks, Brandon. I sure agree in hoping the Blackhawks don't make any mistakes that could set back the rebuild. Now, as March Madness approaches and the teams begin to push for the tournament, we have seen some intense conference matchups, one being our very own Ramblers against the Dayton Flyers. Here's Caroline Lyngen with more.
We're here in Gentile Arena where the Loyola Ramblers just defeated the Dayton Flyers. We have your highlights.
In front of a sold-out crowd, the Ramblers took on the Dayton Flyers. Standout performances came from Miles Rubin and Des Watson, who had a combined 36 points to end the game. Both teams had strong offensive drives down the court, and at the half, the Ramblers held the lead 34-31. At the half, the crowd was treated to the presence of the Wild Berry Pop-Tart, a highlight moment for many in the crowd. In the second half, the Ramblers took the largest lead of the game, bringing the score 56-43. As the clock began to wind down, the Ramblers found themselves holding a small lead over Dayton and won the game 76-72.
The men's basketball will be back here in Gentile Arena on Wednesday to face George Washington. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Caroline Lyngen.
Thanks, Caroline. Continuing on with our March Madness prelude, here's Rachel Lieberman with a recap of recent college basketball games and what to look out for in March Madness.
March is right around the corner, and you know what that means. It's the best time of the year in college basketball. That's right, March Madness begins in just 17 days. On March 16th, the top 68 college squads will take the court, battling to keep on dancing through March. And with the college regular season winding down, this week has been nothing short of exciting. Duke and star freshman Cooper Flagg have continuously made their mark on this season. The second-ranked Blue Devils are currently 25-3 and 16-1 in the ACC. Flagg is averaging nearly 20 points a game in his freshman season and has a season high of 42 points. He definitely has taken over this season. The 26-2 number 1 seeded Auburn Tigers are expected to take the top seed in the tournament. Led by Janai Broom, Auburn is a threat. Michigan State Spartans just came off a nail-biting win against Maryland Wednesday night, but seem to be headed in the right direction. The Spartans have maintained their dominance, hoping to make a run in legendary coach Tom Izzo's last season. On the other hand, North Carolina is predicted to be in the first 4 out. North Carolina has had another disappointing season, even with a winning record. Despite being a legendary blue blood, the Tar Heels have fallen off the college basketball throne in the last 3 years. While it's been a time for redevelopment under coach Hubert Davis, it doesn't look like they'll be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in the 2024 or 25 season. I know I'll be glued to my screen in March, and make sure to get those brackets in, and we'll have to wait and see how this year's fight for the NCAA crown will go down in San Antonio. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Rachel Lieberman.
Thanks for the update, Rachel. March Madness is always an exciting point in the year to look forward to.
I know I'm excited to make my bracket, and this year's top prospect, Cooper Flagg, will be super fun to watch.
So true. Coming up next, Nate Varda acknowledging an important WNBA great.
When you're talking about the greatest basketball players of all time, you might think of LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But it's time to add Diana Taurasi to that list. The 42-year-old Taurasi retired from the WNBA earlier this week and leaves behind a long legacy of winning. It started in college when Taurasi enrolled at the University of Connecticut in 2000. Her freshman season, she helped lead UConn to the Final Four, where they were blown out by Notre Dame 95-70. Taurasi scored 4 points on 1 for 15 shooting and fouled out. After the game, Taurasi famously said, "We will not lose another tournament game while I'm wearing this uniform." And she followed through on that promise. UConn won the next 3 championships with Taurasi, who captured 2 Naismith College Player of the Year awards and finished her collegiate career with a record of 139 wins and 8 losses. Her illustrious career led her to being selected first overall in the 2004 WNBA draft to the Phoenix Mercury, where she spent her entire WNBA career. Throughout her 20 seasons in Phoenix, Taurasi won Rookie of the Year, 3 championships, 1 MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, 11 All-Star games, and 10 All-WNBA first-team selections. She also retired as the WNBA's all-time three-point leader and points leader by nearly 3,000. Taurasi took her talents overseas in the offseason, where she won the EuroLeague 6 times, the Russian National League 7 times, and the Turkish National League once before retiring from European basketball in 2017. She also played for the U.S. national team, where she competed in Olympics 6 times and won the gold medal each year, with her last one coming at Paris in 2024. She became the only basketball player ever with 6 Olympic gold medals. There's only one way to describe Diana Taurasi's career: legendary. A winner everywhere she went, her career and the impact she had on the women's game will never be topped. So hats off to Taurasi on a storied career. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Nate Varda.
Thanks for that deep dive on Taurasi's career. Next, I will join Caroline Lyngen and Rachel Lieberman discussing the Atlantic 10 and March Madness predictions on the Ramble.
Welcome back to the Ramble, everybody. Thank you, and thank you. Today, We are here to do a little March Madness A10 trivia. Keep it real simple because there's a lot of history with March Madness. We have Chongwoo with us and Rachel Lieberman, and we are going to go head first. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
They're ready.
We are ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, what year was the first NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament held? When? I'm looking for year. And who was it? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
I believe it was 1939, and it was their only championship, to my knowledge, and I'm going to have to go with Oregon.
Good answer. Rachel?
I'm also going to say Oregon in 1939.
All right, they would both be correct, everybody. 1-1. 1-1. Which team
Thank you.
holds the second most NCAA men's basketball championships? Second.
Not first.
Not first, second. I don't remember why I chose this question, but I do know it was a good question. I'll give you some seconds to think about it.
She'll add some time.
All right, we'll add some time. I'll just take this moment to say thank you to everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. We're excited to have you. We're excited to go on spring break. This is our last episode
Super
before
excited.
spring. Are you talking or thinking?
Oh, I'm done thinking.
Oh, okay. Are you done? Are you
Yes,
done as well?
yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with you.
Final answer is going to be Duke.
Ah, interesting answer.
Okay, I was going to go right down the road and say North Carolina.
Wow. Both are wrong. It is Kentucky.
Oh,
Okay.
Kentucky would make sense.
Which,
Blue
guys.
blood.
I
Okay.
mean, really, guys,
I'm not familiar with the South.
let's put our thinking caps on. All right, next one. Which university has the most Final Four appearances but does not have a championship? But they've made it to the Final Four. They've never made it to the championship. I know it's tough. And this is going to be a hint because they. Exactly. Think local. Like so
Okay.
local that they might be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
I've got it.
I'm going to start with Rachel.
I'm going to say Illinois. Fighting Illinois.
What are you going to say?
I think I'll go up north and stick with Northwestern.
Interesting. It's Illinois.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That would make sense.
That was a good answer, though, because I like it, because they also probably have never made it to the championship. This is a fun one. Rachel leads 2-1. What year did Loyola win March Madness? Oh. Did you know?
I'm not familiar
I do.
with my own school.
Oh, wow. It's broadcasted everywhere in our school.
We chant it. Ready? Say with me.
Did you not see it live?
No, because
Definitely-
1963.
Definitely not live, sadly.
63. Well, Rachel has won.
Oh.
Quickest win on Ramble ever. But I want to get our A10 prediction. Our Ramblers are doing well. We're doing hot when we're at home. We're taking it on the road soon. We need to stay hot. What are our A10 predictions? Who's coming in first place in the season? I'm going to start with Rachel.
Okay, so I think we are in third right now after beating Dayton last week. I do think we will remain there. We've already played George Mason and VCU. We're not playing them again, so it's not really going to change that. So I feel like the top 3, even top 4 with Dayton will stay the same. But it just depends how we do in the tournament. I really hope we do well. We're on a good track and we have a lot of momentum going into, we're doing really well, and this is the time you want to do well. So hopefully we come out on top, but I think rankings will stay the same.
Interesting. Good take. Chongwoo?
Rachel made a lot of good points there. I do like Loyola if they could make a late season push. We did fraud check George Washington the other night, so I was really happy about that. I might have to stick with VCU only because we've played them before, and I don't know. I do like the Blurs though. I'm a big fan of them. No hate to them at all.
Go Blurs!
And I'm gonna have to write it out. Will the rankings lean in our favor? I guess we'll find out in a few games. But VCU will be my final answer.
Interesting. Good answers. I hope you're right. I hope you're wrong. But we're gonna wrap it up for this episode of The Ramble. Thank you for so much for watching. I'm gonna send it back to our anchors.
Thanks, everyone. The A10 is going to be a fun conference to keep an eye on this year's March Madness. I know nothing excites me more than watching our own Ramblers in the tournament. Big hopes for the team this year. That wraps up this episode of Rambler Sports Locker.
To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on X, TikTok, and Instagram at Loyola RSL, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Jenny Marchi.
And I'm Chongwoo Chang.
We'll see you next week, and don't forget to turn off the lights.